Right, everyone, we are live. I hope. Keeping everything crossed. Hoping you can see me and the wonderful Erica both in shot together at the same time, which is a bit fancy, isn't it? So hopefully we're on Crafting Together with All Brands.
Yeah, I'm having a look.
Where we're doing a little bit of a crafty play and chat this evening, but hopefully I'm also streaming on our YouTube channel and also on the Funky Fossil Facebook page. So I'm hoping we're going to get some eyes soon, and somebody will give us a thumbs up or give us a nod or a wave just to let us know that they can see and hear us okay.
Oh, it'll just be me and you, Sarah.
We'll be happy with that. And Nicola's here as well, so we'll be having a old chat.
We've done this before, and Archie, we're sorted. We'll get Steve in on it as well.
No, we won't do that.
Oh yeah,
he'll absolutely kill the vibe. So, but I can see Julie and Gath. So I know that you can see us then, guys. So hopefully you can hear us too, because we always get nervous when we've got a split screen and a split audio going on. Make sure that it's all coming across loud and clear. Kerry, you can see us both. Thank you, lovely. Hi, Angela. Now I don't think Erica, you can see the comments other than when you're refreshing on your laptop on the Crafting Together with All Brands page. Is that right? Have you found us?
Yeah. I've seen Simon. Hi, Simon. He says hi. That's it at the moment.
Well, that means then I can't see the Crafting Together with All Brands comments, because I can't see the comment from Simon. So Erica's going to monitor. This is like some kind of command and control center. Erica's going to monitor Crafting Together with All Brands, and I can see the lovely chat and comments in my Facebook page and YouTube. So I will shout out your comments, questions, and general abuse to Erica, so she knows that you think I'm better than she is.
And if you want to call Sarah, you need to do it on Crafting Together with All Brands.
Yeah, don't know yet. We can, if you're on there, tell Erica that she's better than me, and then we can make sure. And then we can compare and contrast comments at the end. Oh, Jane, hello, lovely. She says,
"Hey, Jane."
Oh, and Ali, our Ali's there. Mitra, Celia, Dawn. So lots of our familiar names rolling in. So thank you everyone for catching on. This is a bit of an unscheduled live, isn't it? Because it's normally live on a Wednesday. And I should give a little bit of a shout out to for our Wednesday live, because in our usual Why Not Wednesday 7 o'clock slot, we're going to have a bit of a Christmas party. And assuming that the technology and Mr. G permit it, we're going to have all four of us live in the studio tomorrow. So you've got to tune in for Paola, Leonie, Erica and myself having a bit of a Christmas chat and giggle, and really probably, I think, will it be your last live of pre-Christmas, Erica? Yeah. So I think for most of us it'll be our last live before kind of Christmas well and truly arrives. So yeah, please do join us tomorrow. We'll have some giveaways and we'll have a bit of fun. But so this is a bit of an unscheduled live, and we wanted to have a play, didn't we?
We did.
Because what are we playing with? We're going to play with, well, I'm afraid we got under Trade Subscription Act, because I said we were going to be playing with Erica's gorgeous Twinkle Twinkle stamp set, but she informed me about an hour ago that that's sold out. So apologies, everybody. I'm still going to craft with that because that's what I've got. But Erica's going to use, what stamp set are you using, darling?
So I'm going to use one. It's quite a magical one, and it's called I Do Believe in Fairies.
So, and is that one with the dragon and the teacup? And is that the right?
Yeah, that's from the same collection. Yeah.
Right. So Erica's going all magical and mystical. I'm going all wintry. And we're going to see what we can come up with. We're not going to ask for your votes because we know already that mine will be better. So
I vote for you, Sarah.
I'm feeling mischievous tonight, everybody. Right, shall we, Erica? Shall we turn our cameras around and have a bit of a play, and let's talk through what we've got on our desks?
We certainly will.
Okay, I'm gonna go on to single screen for me, so Erica can do a bit of a jiggery pokery with her camera while I have a bit of a chat with you all. Yeah, no, we don't need too much encouragement for a party, do we, around these parts, Julie? So yes, I'm looking forward to it, actually. I'm keeping everything crossed we can manage it all in the studio, because it's normally a bit chaotic once we get Leonie anywhere near anything. It can all fall to bits. So fingers crossed. Yeah, plenty of gin on hand, Dawn. You have to bring your own mince pies for the party tomorrow. We'll try and do a bit of craftiness and some prizes. Oh, hi, Carol. Glad you found us, lovely. They're doing my drawers. That's what I've got. I like the sound of that. I'm going to adopt that as a saying. Oh, and hi, Selena. So, yes, I'm hoping I'm not going to get too much heckling tonight. I'm feeling a bit mischievous. And the reason being, I always love it. In fact, I'll turn my camera around while Erica's getting set up. Oh, it looks like she's done already. I always love having a play with other brands' products, because it puts me in the space that all of you are in, which is really enjoying playing with great artwork. And Erica's illustrations are stunning, and I love the things that she brings us. So the fact I'm going to be able to have a bit of a play with this design this evening has made me feel a little bit giddy. Right, I'm bringing you onto screen again, Erica. Looks like you're all set up there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've had to go portrait because it wouldn't let me do the landscape.
Oh, you're fine on my screen.
Oh, really? Oh, brilliant.
You look like your portrait, isn't it?
Oh,
isn't this
brilliant.
beautiful? This is an absolutely beautiful song. I won't linger on it too long, Therese, because I say it's dark, but it is stunning. And I say lots of you will know Erica's artwork and have been followers of Stampanory already. But the designs always, to me, tell a story. And the fact I'm going to have a bit of play with this tonight. I've got all the blues on my desk, Erica. I'm going to try and go wintry. I've got one of my snowflake stencils, got my Ocean Dreams paper pad. I'm hoping there's going to be a paper in here that I can use with the artwork, and of course a bit of Starlight Magic.
Well, I've got the complete opposite. I've got a burst of colour tonight.
Cool.
I'm going to be using I Do Believe in Fairy stamp. This is still available on my website. If you put in thank you 20, you'll get 20% off for the next 24 hours.
Oh, fabulous.
I've paired it with the Skin and Blister Sister stamp, so I'm going to be using this little lady as well.
I love that. And what I love as well, I mean, that one is a good example, as is this, is these are a good size, aren't they? And I'm going to do this in my journal page, and you've got effectively a complete journal page with the image that you give us already.
Yeah, I think most of my stamps are A5, Sarah, and because of that reason, because I am an artist, I like them to be big enough that you can really have a good colour in with them.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going to use, it looks like to me like you're going to use your watercolours tonight, is that?
Yeah, I'm using Brusho and a little tiny bit of bleach, and then I'm going in with watercolour. Because I know you love the bleach, Sarah.
Well, at least we're in two completely different buildings, so that's fine. You can bleach away.
Oh dear, maybe that's what's wrong with Archie. Why he's been a bit quiet, because I've been bleaching.
For those of you that don't know, when we did the Craft Collective workshop earlier in November, Erica did an amazing workshop. Her session was fantastic, and it was using this bleach technique, which she may be about to do tonight. But she was in this same room with attendees all day, and they're all kind of getting the bleach out for the whole day. The room reeked by the end of this day. Honestly, it made you dizzy to walk in there. I don't know how she managed all day. Nicola, you were in there as well, weren't you?
You was in there, yeah. You know, when I walked in the very last session, it reminded me of, the swimming baths.
Yeah, it was. It felt like you were walking through a foot wash to get to the session.
Yeah, I think I might need to rethink that for next time.
And all the windows were open, and it was an old building with high ceilings. You'd think it would be well ventilated, but my goodness. Honestly.
It was bad, wasn't it, Sarah? Oh, nobody said anything either,
No, they couldn't say anything.
Oh.
Their eyes were bleeding.
It's funny.
It did feel very clean, Ali. I know. I mean, I think if you were in that room for one of the earlier sessions, it was fine, and then by the end of the day, it was absolutely.
You hated me by the end of the day.
James in the comments as well, and she was helping out all day. And oh my lord! So you just count yourselves lucky that this live stream does not have smell as well as sound and vision, because you can get away without smelling the bleach tonight. Oh dear. So what I've got, just to say what I've been doing, I've flipped through my Ocean Dreams paper pad. So I've obviously Ocean Dreams, it's full of very kind of waves and sea themed imagery, but I do have some pages in there like this which are kind of quite abstract, so they've got a collage, got quite a textured look. So because I'm not a magician with my brushos and watercolors like Erica is, I'm thinking I'm going to stamp my image onto this colored paper and give myself some immediate background interest without even needing to go near a brush.
See, that's just cheating.
just because you're better that you don't have my paper pad.
So I'm just going in with the brush holes to start with, just to do the background colour, because I'm going to add a tiny bit of bleach to the background, and then I'm going to work it with watercolour.
And the thing I struggle with, and I'm still kind of learning about this technique and using watercolors in general, is how much water to put down on the paper to start with to get them moving. And it looks like there's quite a lot of water on that paper. So do you have to just be quite kind of just confident in how much you put down?
Yeah, and I think as well with watercolour, it all depends on what you're doing, Sarah. So if you're doing a background that's quite muted, you want a lot of water and not much pigment. And the thing with watercolour is, the rule with watercolour is you start with your lightest and you build them colours up. So I've started with the lightest orange, and I'm just building them colours up, and all I'm doing as it's still wet, I'm just pushing that colour to where I want it.
Yeah, and letting it travel.
Yeah, that's the exciting bit.
That's the bit I still struggle with. I think I've decided I'm probably a bit of a control freak, and just letting the colour travel and do its thing always has me feeling a little bit anxious.
I think what you might be best doing with that is maybe do a few watercolors where you do explore it a little bit more and let that color do its thing. Because I think sometimes if you're too precious about what you're doing, you don't get the really exciting stuff.
No, I think that's right. And I think one of the things, and we were chatting about this, weren't we, the last time I saw you down at Highlight Crafts. I mean, I'm still using these little kind of water brushes with these small nib brushes, but you use quite a generous size mop brush, don't you, really? And I think if I use a bigger brush, I'm going to get a freer use of my colour, aren't I?
Yeah, I mean, I normally have 3 brushes available. So I normally have a big one probably a bit smaller than that, and then your detailed one. That's normally what I work with every time I do a watercolour.
That's the thing. I just don't really use the bigger brush. I think that's gonna be one of my New Year's resolutions. Go big. So look how lovely that is.
Sorry, go on.
All I'm going to say is I've just stamped this out onto the pattern paper, and this scene's got a beautiful kind of, she's kind of hovering above a village scene. Now it's darker at the bottom, but she looks really illuminated, doesn't she? Because of the where I've caught her on the paper, just got that lighter colour behind her. So the challenge for me now is going to be to bring the detail back out of the image by putting some whites or some highlights in, so she really kind of pops against that coloured paper. But the paper's done a lot of the work for me, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that what you just work on it like you're working on a negative. So you're adding the highlights back in rather than adding any depth with the darkness. Leave what you've already got there for the depth.
Well, I think I'm going to be brave. I'm working in my journal. So I haven't got any, I do have brushes, but I don't have them with me here. So I've got my magical. So I think I'm going to do a bit of a splattery background just to prove that you're not the only person who can splatter around.
Right, I'm just gonna put the heat gun on a minute just to dry this off.
Okay, no worries.
Don't be calling me while I'm doing this. What?
So look at the rich colour there. Look, it's a really
it's a brush show. It's fantastic. It will go a bit lighter though.
Yeah, I'm going to use my my Lindy's, which are pretty much, for those of you that don't know, I know most of you will, very similar to brushes. The Lindy's typically, not all of them, but they typically have some mica in them, so you get a bit of shimmer, whereas the brushes tend to have more variegated colouring, and I think they're normally a flat, as in that they don't have a mica component to them. But in essence, very similar product in that they are water reactive pigments. So I'm warping mine down. So Erica's put water onto her page and then she's applied the colour and let the colour travel. And an alternative way of doing it, if you want just a completely random look, I'm just going to cover the whole of my background, is I'm just sprinkling some of the powder on dry, and then I'm going to spritz it with water so it explodes, she says, hopefully, in a good way. I don't want a bad explosion.
You might have a bad explosion in a bit with me and me bleach.
True. Yeah, you're not anywhere near a naked flame, are you? It'd be awful if you went up.
Right before Christmas as well. That can't happen.
Can you just imagine? Oh Lord, they'll not have us back.
No, we'll just traumatise everybody. They won't have us back ever again.
Oh dear. Right. Before I spray some water, I should really have done this first. I'm just going to put a bit of paper behind my journal page. Oh, that never gets old.
What?
Look at that.
Oh, that was really good.
So
look at that. What Sarah's done.
That.
Oh wow. Just showing off now.
Get your vote in now, Nicola.
Yeah. Come on, Sarah. Showing off. You've got my vote.
Thank you. But this is where I get carried away then. The top's fallen off my brush, so you can see the quality of a fan brush I've got there. I end up actually making a complete swimming pool of my page because I keep finding bits that I want to activate, and I just keep spritzing the water on it, so it'll take 3 days to dry.
We've got 3 days, don't worry, it's not Christmas yet. We're okay. We can still be going when the girls join us tomorrow, we'll be right.
I know that's true. I know, but I've seen Paola in the comments. So yeah, Paola, I'll still be making this one page when we go live tomorrow evening.
That's really effective. Eh?
So just saying, Dawn was saying she loves a brush show.
Oh, so when I was at art college, I was in my early 20s, and so it's over 30 years. No, definitely not last week looking at my face. It was over 30 years ago, and I used, that's when I was first introduced to brush show.
Gosh, how long have they been going?
Yeah, they've probably been going longer.
Wow. I mean, they are really, I love them because of the intensity of the pigment. I find I just don't use them often enough because some of them have got quite a variegated pigment in there, haven't they? So you don't always know what you're going to get.
No,
so
you don't.
If I get more familiar with them, I can anticipate the results a little bit better. But
But I think that's why I like them, Sarah, probably the opposite to why you what you've just said. Because sometimes I'll put colour on and I think, oh, that's different to what I thought it'd be.
Yeah, no, I know. I think the theme that's coming out here is I just need to get a bit more adventurous, don't I?
Yeah, and I need to be a little bit more structured. So we probably need to spend the week with one another.
I'm not sure that's how it works, though, is it really?
What? So you mean you don't want to spend the week with me?
No, exactly that. You know, Erica, I don't do people. A week with anybody, including Steve, would be a challenge.
I don't really do. You know what? I think it must just be the creative in us. I don't really do people.
I love spending time with people, and I get lots of energy and ideas, but then they can go away. That's all I'm saying.
What I do is I spend time with people and I'm absolutely fine, and then it takes me about 3 months to get over it. So yeah, then you isolate a little bit. Then I'm back into my lovely nest.
I love that. 3 weeks. We need to all go into hibernation, don't we, for a good while.
Absolutely.
So I am going to heat blast this in a minute, but I'll do a bit of work on my stamped image first and just let it do a bit of traveling before I dry it. But you'll be able to catch more of the mica element of the Lindy's when it's dry, but I could already see some of it coming through in the greens and blues. So I've basically got everything that I could find that was blue out on my desk so that I could try different mediums and get everything in that same colour family.
So have you added colours to wet paper?
No, I sprinkled them on dry and then spritzed it with water.
Ah, right, okay.
So as I was saying, it's almost the opposite of the approach you took, where you wet the water and then you applied it, but you want yours to go round your image, so you needed to have a bit more control about where the colour travelled, whereas I was just wanting a random background. So I can do random.
Do you like doing random, Sarah, or does that take you out your comfort zone?
It's a good question. When I started crafting, I started very much in very clean and simple, and I really like. And I'm like Paula in this respect. We both quite like geometric, graphic compositions where there's white space. So although I've increasingly embraced that kind of more mixed media style of things, I still like to have some level of control where I know I'm going to have some what I call quiet space in my project.
Right.
I don't like everything to be everywhere, so I still pull back from going completely mad.
Well, I like the randomness of the effect that paints give you. But what I normally do is, so this is on an A4. I would never normally work on an A4. I'd work on an A3, and I like a lot of space around it. So that's similar to what you've just said, but mine's more in a random fashion.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't like that. I mean, this now, the full page is near enough with colour, and that stresses me a little tiny bit.
Oh, does it? So you still like to have your quieter space where the eye can settle? Yeah.
Because it draws the eye in. If you've got space around it, then it draws the eye into the image.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think I started there. Yeah. There you see Paula saying geometric rules. What I like is something really kind of structured, and then that sense of it dissolving or disintegrating. So I quite like quite a messy background, but with a really sharp focal point. Almost the contrast.
Yeah, and I love geometric. I would normally use geometric with something really quite chaotic and random, because the geometric, so it sort of evens it out.
will pull it back, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I love geometric.
So all I'm doing is I'm going in with a white gel pen and just I'm trying to kind of think about which areas of this image I want to kind of bring out. And there's all this fabulous texture in the fur trim. I think I'll probably add a bit of starlight to that as well.
Yeah, I think the Twinkle Twinkle, that might have been one of me very early portraits, and I've learned quite a lot since then. And I realised with my very early ones, even though I absolutely love them because there's so much to see in them,
Yeah.
some of the detail at A5, it gets lost. So now I try and still do the detail, but maybe not as intricate.
Well, I mean, you're saying in terms of your journey into kind of the world of craft, you started from being an artist, so you've had to kind of learn what works in a stamp form or what gives people creative options, haven't you? Really?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and it has been a journey, because the crafting world, up to probably 2.5 years ago, I wasn't involved in the crafting world in any way.
So you kind of, from your, like, people like Jane and Amanda and Rachel and your DT, they've kind of been the education for you of it, haven't they? About, oh, well, actually, if in the next time you do it as a stamp, it would be better if X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
You've had to get their feedback as to what works.
I mean, my girls, I mean, Amanda and Jane have been with me from the beginning, and honestly, they've been more than just DTs. You know, they've helped me out with a lot of things, and I'm always asking questions.
Yeah, we know.
I am. I'm like, seriously, you know, a lot of the time I'm like a fish out of water.
You're not.
I do. I feel like that. I do.
But so what has been like your kind of main revelation in terms of the craft world, and because I mean you used to work as a tattoo artist, didn't you? So this is a completely different kind of industry and environment for you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, magical environment, this, compared to the tattooing. The reason I did the tattooing for over 10 years, and the reason I got out of that, is the industry itself wasn't particularly nice. So coming into this, and you know, people loving the craft and loving what you do is it's what makes my job. That's why I love my job. And I tell you what was a bit of a shocker to start with, is that I've always done art to sell as framed artwork.
Yes.
And when I used to see the effort that people used to put into the card making, I just couldn't get my head around it.
Yeah.
Because they do. Some of the cards that I've seen, if you frame them, they'd be absolutely beautiful pieces of art.
I was just going to say that I think there's so many of like the people, the names I can see on the feed here, and they do create art. And I think if you said there's something, I think psychologically for those of us that have kind of come from a crafting place, is that if somebody said, well, do what you've just done but do it on a canvas, or do what you've just done but do it to put it in a frame, people then kind of almost seize up because they think that's going to require them to do a different type of thing, if that makes sense. They just, because I think they're intimidated by that whole art label. But actually, when you see what they create, it absolutely should go in a frame most of the time.
Yeah, well, I have quite a lot of customers that sell the work, and I always
Yeah,
say to them, rather than selling it as a card that you would
yeah.
sell that for under a fiver, put it in a frame and you could sell it for £20. But just what you just said there, I'm the same if I was to make cards. The minute I have like that structure, it's almost like my creativity goes a little bit.
How strange is that? Because
Yeah,
I thought
it's
you'd have found it easier to go the other way than for us to make that kind of leap into what we perceive to be artwork.
I suppose it's where your comfort zone is.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, for me, I still would hesitate to kind of think, oh, that could go in a frame, but I'm doing more stuff which is like that kind of home decor stuff because I'm thinking I don't want it to get either I'm doing it in a journal so I can keep it and enjoy it, or I'm doing it in a way that I think, well, at least I can enjoy it around the house rather than it kind of going in the bin or in a box, because so many of us make more cards than we ever get to send. Unless you Julie, I've just seen Julie in the feed, and she makes hundreds of cards and manages to kind of get them all sent out. But I make lots of cards that don't ever leave the house.
Yeah, and I think that the minute you, I suppose the minute you put it in a frame and say, this is my artwork, I am the artist, some people find that quite intimidating.
Yeah.
So I bet there's probably a lot of people that have got so much stash at home that nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, that is true as well. I'm sure there's lots of things that people still hesitate to share online, even though I think our crafting space is by and large a friendly space where you get lots of positive reinforcement for what you make. For some people,
Yeah.
it's still intimidating to put their stuff out there online.
Well, it's when I first started doing a tiny bit of crafting, I remember me getting my first stamping station and me thinking, I don't really know what I'm doing. And, you know, from 2 years ago, I have give it a go, and I really, really do enjoy it. But it sometimes, and this sounds ridiculous, but when I think of doing lives and showing people how to maybe do something like this, I feel like there's a part of me, and I suppose it is a confidence thing, there's a part of me thinking they make such beautiful cards. I've seen what people do with my stamps, and it blows me away. And I just think, why would they want to watch me do a live? You know, and I suppose that's hard to get your head around as well when you are quite new to the crafting industry.
I still get that now, but I think I know how much I enjoy watching people's lives because I enjoy watching somebody being creative. Everyone does things differently, so you always learn something from somebody else's approach. And there's something very relaxing about watching other people create, even if it's not necessarily a revelation in terms of the technique. It's not something that you couldn't do yourself. I find it really, I just find it a really lovely way to kind of share that creative moment with watching somebody else bring their artwork to life. So, but I know what you mean. I feel exactly the same. I think, oh my God, I haven't got an amazing technique that's going to blow the doors off and people are going to be awestruck.
It's a bit like imposter syndrome, a little bit with me. It's bizarre. And you know, when I posted that the other night of me drawing, I do that quite often, and I do little videos of me drawing quite often. And a couple of my ladies said, you know what, Erica, I could watch you all day long. It's so tranquil. And I just thought, why can't I just do that? Just me drawing, not saying anything. Let everybody else have a little chat and just watch me draw.
I'm sure people will be happy to do that. Just watch the image come together in front of you.
Yeah, so, I think I'm going to give that a go in the new year.
Just let people know that you're not going to be talking, so they just don't think your mic's broken.
I don't, honestly, I think the thing with me sometimes, because I get carried away when I'm doing my art, I think sometimes I'd rather not talk.
Well, that kind of art would, in terms of you doing your drawings and you're doing your line work. I mean, that'd be quite hard to talk through, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Surely you've got to concentrate while you're doing that.
Yeah, and it'd also probably be a little bit boring as well, if because it'd just be quite repetitive, I suppose.
People watch long YouTube videos of people colouring, because that's quite a time-consuming process to build that colour up. People are more than happy to watch that come together. So I don't think it's a case of how long it is, you say, but it's a different. It'll have a different feel to just a kind of a bit of banter and a quick make, won't it?
Yeah.
So I'm look at this, Soka. I'm tearing around your image now. I would spend more time with some white, bringing this out, but just those little white highlights make a difference.
So lovely. The detail in that bottom bit is so lovely,
isn't it? It could be. I mean, you could make that as a separate stamp in its own right,
Yeah, you could. So normally when I do my portraits, I work from photographs. So I get an image of a face that I like, and sometimes maybe I might have a few faces, and I'll mix them about a bit. And then for that one, I add a couple of Christmas scenes that I merge together to make that image.
So did you work this one out from a photo of me then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I worked it out from you.
Yeah. I thought I could see the semblance.
You like Oh no, I'm really laughing.
Yeah, it's like looking in the mirror. It really is.
Just trying to break my concentration now. I know what you're doing.
Well, look at yours. I just love it. Right, I'm going to turn my heat gun on for a second just to try and give this Lindy's a bit of a chance to dry. It's not proper dry. Now we've got Erica. We've got a request here from Samantha who says, "Can you say lovely again, because she loves your accent?"
Lovely. Oh no, I'm proper man, can't I? Yeah, I can't. It's just one of them. I used
to request to hear lovely.
I used to be a teacher, and where a lot of the people that worked there weren't from Manchester, and then there was me, and I used to come in the morning. They used to go, "It's Erica from Manchester." Manchester.
They sound like them off Coronation Street.
Yeah, we don't though.
We don't.
I say I don't think that's funny.
I could tell you weren't laughing about that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's funny in the slightest. I'm quite offended.
It's funny because my two boys, obviously they've always lived in Yorkshire. They're kind of born in Yorkshire, so they've got strong Yorkshire accents. And my eldest has just spent a year down in London on a placement. And it's all of these offices with people from all around the world, kind of Japan, China, South America. They could all speak and understand each other, except nobody could understand Ethan's accent.
Oh, right.
So
his accent similar to yours?
No, I think because I was born down south. I only came up here in my mid-teens, so I never completely got the Yorkshire accent, whereas they're proper Yorkshire. So, and Steve's Yorkshire as well. So, It just I feel justified in all those years where I've tried to get the boys to speak properly, and now that Ethan's gone down to London, nobody could tell what he was saying.
How bizarre. Well, when I went to art college, I used to live with a girl, and she was from Durham.
Oh,
and
yes.
Honestly, she was like my best mate. But probably for the first year of living with her, I didn't have a clue what she was saying. It's just a really hard accent that to follow.
I love the kind of northeast accent. I went to university in Durham, so I love that accent.
Oh, I do. It's such a I love accents anyway.
You'd have to sounding like you.
Hey?
You'd have to love accents sounding like you.
I know. I do. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't love the Manchester accent because I'm Manc and I've got to say that I like it. But sometimes I wish it was abroad.
Well, we always know when you're in the room,
don't you? Don't forget me in a hurry, do you?
Between your accent and the bleach, you're very hard to forget.
Well, this is why I need to lie down and isolate for 3 weeks because I just wear myself out.
That's true.
I do, honestly. And you know, now you know me a little bit. You understand what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, totally. I totally know what you mean.
I haven't even got to explain that further, have I?
No. It's. I think I definitely understand your uniqueness. Your uniqueness. That's right. Now look how cool that looks against that Lindy's background. So there's quite a messy background for me generally. But I'm embracing it, Erica, because you told me I've got to be brave.
That's so good.
She melts into it though, doesn't she? That's how nicely that paper kind of matches in. It's not all completely dry, so I'm hoping it's not all going to curl up while I'm still live. And I think I'm going to add some some Starlight paste to a stencil just to really try and get this image now to kind of blend with the background, so it all looks like it's part of the same piece. So
I think it is blending though. It looks really good.
I'm leaving my surplus paper on the background here because I'm going to stencil off the edge of the page with the paste. It will just prevent it from sticking the pages together. Oh, thanks, Samantha. Yeah, and they're completely contrasting colours, Chris, aren't they? So Erica's gone with all the kind of warm, rich colours with that. I mean, I love that orange glow behind her. I think that's fantastic. And then I've gone all cool and wintry.
You couldn't have picked two opposites.
What, colours or people?
Both. We're doing all right though, Sarah.
Yeah, we haven't fallen out yet. We're doing all right.
No, we're doing great.
So what I was going to say with this Starlight paste is I'm sure those of you that have seen me before will have seen me add colour to this. So I could of course put my Lindy's into the Starlight paste, obviously put it on my mat and put the Lindy's in and turn it into a nice really kind of shimmery blue. But actually, if I use it over this this background, because it's a water reactive background, some of it will probably absorb into the Starlight anyway, because it's like when you work over a distress ink, if it's not being sealed, you find that sometimes that colour will kind of get lifted into the paste that you're using. So I'm thinking I'm not going to add more colour to the paste. I'm just going to see whether the Starlight picks up the colour I've already got down. What's she doing there? She's got the Hoover on. Oh, she's got the heat gun on.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Doesn't it look gorgeous? What? How have you got those speckles? I know you've done the bleach, but you've got different coloured speckles. Have you just splattered on top of the orange?
Yeah. Yeah. So as I use the colour, I only do it finely so it's not all over the place.
No, it's really effective. So I'm just going kind of almost on my corners here of this layout because I don't obviously want to obliterate the detail of our lovely image, my twin sister. What?
So honestly, you're just doing it now. You're doing it to make me laugh now.
I know, Chris. I don't know what Hoover is either. I just thought I'd throw it in there to make it sound like I was domesticated. Right, let's go to the top here. Now, I'm not sure this will be a bit subtle to pick up on camera. We'll see in a minute. And then what I'll do as well is get a kind of a paintbrush and see if I can add a few highlights, because I do think the furry trim on her hood would look good with a little bit of glitter as well.
She was in that collection. She was the first image that I drew in that collection. Absolutely love the Twinkle Twinkle.
I do. I really love it, and I love the actually the font on the words in the stamp set as well. The where's she gone? Don't know where my acetate's gone.
Can't help you with it.
I don't know. I've lost my acetate now. Because they're quite large as well, aren't they? The words.
Yeah, and that's been trial and error with me as well. You know, over the last couple of years.
What, using words?
No, the size of the words.
Oh, I see.
I love words, honestly. I mean, I've got them tattooed all over me.
Adding some kind of your journaling and your poetry, etc., to Cotton Socks 10, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely love words. So we'll see what this little man can do.
What little man?
Little mank.
Oh, little man. Sorry. So I needed to translate.
Can't understand me, can you?
What is she talking about, everybody? And you're saying to me before we went live, you're nearly there with Cotton Socks 10, aren't you? So when's that coming out in January?
Yeah, so that's going to be launching on the 20th of January.
Ooh.
But I think I'm going to have to do that in 2 collections because I've honestly, some of the images that I've drawn, normally I don't really struggle with, choosing the images that I want. I've really struggled this time because there's a lot that I love.
Oh, wow. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's never happened before. So I might do a chapter 10 and then a part 2 to that as well.
Oh, great. So we're not going to be short of Cotton Socks inspiration in the new year then?
No, she's going to still be rocking it. I'm going to stop messing in a bit because I'm going to ruin it. This is what I do.
When you've got your watercolor is dry, do you often go in and add any further kind of depth with pencils and shading, or do you leave it as it is? Yeah,
so sometimes I will go in with coloured pencil, or sometimes I even go in with pen, and just add my own little tiny bits. But the thing with me is sometimes I just literally don't know when to stop.
I know what you mean.
And then you think, don't you? If I would have stopped 5 minutes ago, that would have been brilliant.
You know what, though? I think my problem is sometimes I don't do enough. So because I get to a point that I like, and then I'm hesitate too much about doing the next thing. But then if I see somebody on YouTube doing it, then
Is
and
that
leave it there.
Sarah?
What's that, lovely?
Is that because you think you're going to ruin it?
Yeah. So, and I'll see people on YouTube and I'll go, oh, leave it there. And then they do the next thing and it totally transforms it and makes it better. But I know I'd have left it where it was for fear of spoiling it. So again, that's something you've got to learn, isn't it? About actually taking it forward and not being too worried about it not always working out the way you wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, over the years, I've always pushed the boundaries with my artwork anyway, and some magnificent things have come from that wouldn't have come if I would have stopped when I thought that because it was safe.
Yes, yeah. So that's the thing I'm still on a journey with, definitely. And I think, and this sounds like I'm like making excuses, but I know the DT are on and they'll understand what I mean, is sometimes if I'm making samples because I know I've got a collection coming up, I feel like I haven't got the time to afford making a mistake because I need to be producing samples. And so that's when it stops being quite so much play and more like I need to come up with a good showcase for this next stamp set or this. And then I don't, although it would be really cool to see what if, I don't really have the time to make it again.
Yeah, so you know what I think. So this is where me and you completely different. I've always done artwork to sell. So the artwork that I produce is my artwork and what I've decided to do with it. There's no deadline to it. And then it goes for sale. But I know exactly what you're saying when you mean about sampling. So because you've had to do that for so long, that's probably just the way that you work.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking forward to over Christmas, is maybe having a bit of time where I just think, right, I'm going to experiment. There isn't anybody looking over my shoulder, or there isn't a specific deadline I'm going to meet. I'm just going to see where things take me, rather than thinking, oh, wait a second, that will be a good sample, so I'll leave it there rather than spoil it.
Yeah, I understand why what you're saying now when you're saying about the sampling and having deadlines. I get that. I mean, it's like sometimes with cotton sorts, I'll draw something in pencil and it's quite loose and I absolutely love it, and then I go into it with pen and it sort of loses something along the way. But also I'm so careful what I'm doing with the pen that sometimes I think it loses its movement.
Yeah, the freedom of the kind of movement gets a bit, because you're thinking this has got to be crisp artwork to be converted into a stamp image, so you can't afford too many going overs, can you? Once you get to the inking part, it's got to be a sharp line. Yeah.
And I think that's where the tattooing come in really handy for me, because with tattooing, once you commit to a line, you've got to keep your hand straight and you've got to follow that line. So I think that come in really handy for me as well.
Yeah, no, that would be good practice for drawing this kind of artwork. That looks amazing.
I'm just going to dry this off a minute.
Well, I kind of finished with mine because I'm thinking what I would do now. The reason I'm kind of finished with it is now that I've put my starlight paste on it, there's not much more faffing I can do until the starlight's dry. But I'm thinking, looking at it here, I probably would now go in with some Stabilo, the Stabilo all in dark blue, and probably bring in some shadows and definitions just to give that kind of the feel of the hood over a face. But obviously I've now got to wait until everything has dried so I can add a little bit more detail to it.
Oh, if you wouldn't have done it in your journal, we could have swapped.
True. Well, we've had a fabulous suggestion actually from Samantha, who said we should challenge each other to replicate each other's artwork and see how as a way of practicing different ways of creating. So I'm definitely
that is so true. So we could do something that would take each of us out of our comfort zone and see what happens. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I can tell you what would happen. I'd have a nervous breakdown, but I'm sure it'd be very entertaining for you all.
You wouldn't.
I love that. Isn't that amazing, the difference that frame makes to really kind of sharpening the image?
They're just a little bit small, you know, for the image. But yeah, you see, this is what I'm saying about the white space around. That feels right to me now.
That for me, that's a really, I've forgotten about that, but that's a good way of me actually letting loose, having a go and a play, and knowing I can bring that framing back in to give me the definition again if I feel I've lost my way.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how much of a difference a frame makes to things, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've had a really good time.
Well, I'm hoping all of you have done too. And thank you all for your comments as you've been chatting away with us. Amanda suggested I should try having a couple of gins before I tried any challenge with you.
I think I'm having a couple of gins next time when I come on live with you, and I don't drink.
What's that supposed to mean? I thought it'd been a very relaxed experience.
Okay, I've had a really lovely time, honestly.
Charming.
You do make me giggle, you though.
I tell you what, one thing that I've just thought, we always say about artists being careful not to drink their paint water. Just imagine if you drunk your bleach. That would have been a terrible ending.
You know, so it's really good that you can't actually see me whilst I'm painting, because sometimes rather than wiping my brush on my rag, I suck it, and I need to stop doing it.
Oh my word.
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do it. In fact, our nickel knocked on before and I was painting, and I was thinking, I hope I haven't got any paint around my mouth.
Oh my word. I think that is probably one admission too far, Erica.
It's only a bit of watercolour. Won't do you any harm. It's not done me any harm over the years.
Well, it's debatable. I had been thinking it was the bleach, but now I'm thinking it's the vast amounts of watercolour you've drunk over the years.
See, you'll never call me again now that you know that.
I can't believe you.
No, that's quite tame, Sarah.
I think that's as much as we can all cope with.
So
everybody's laughing their heads off here on the comments.
The next time you can do something that'll take you out your comfort zone. I'll supervise. What do you reckon?
If you try and supervise anything, we're all doomed. Anyway, this is my comfort zone. Look, it's all watercolory and
I love it. Yeah, that detail you've got in there with the white, it's so nice.
But I could have put a bit more in, but I think I do want to put a bit of shadow in just to bring her face kind of through a bit more. But I'll have a bit more of a faff with it, everybody, and we'll both be posting our makes on our various Facebook pages and on Crafting Together with all brands as well.
Sarah, if you want to get a bit of depth in a face, wait until it dries, get a little bit of pencil and one of them smudgers and just put a tiny bit around a hood, and that'll bring it out as well.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to say, to make it look like the hood was overhanging her face a little bit more, and probably bring just something in just under her chin a little bit to give her that more definition. So yeah, it won't take a lot.
Oh, look at her. I love her as well. Can you see her, the little fairy?
I do. I can. It's fabulous.
Oh, cute.
Look at that movement as well you've got in those colours. It's fabulous.
I've so enjoyed myself.
Well, I want to turn the camera back on to face forward, because obviously Erica will need to wrestle that into being back looking at her. So we'll leave it facing our artwork, shall we, Erica?
You can't look at me now because I might have paint round my mouth.
I know, I'm very worried about what's occurring over there. So I think we're best imagining the scene over at Stampanory Towers, and We want to thank you all for your company this evening. We really loved it. We've loved crafting along. Remember to join us tomorrow at 7 for our Christmas party. And as I say, you bring the mince pies. We'll probably bring the gin, and we'll all have a lovely chat and craft together tomorrow evening as well. But I hope you've enjoyed this fabulous artwork by Erica. It is stunning. And yeah, a bit of crafting from the two of us. We've enjoyed it.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thanks, Sarah, and thanks for everyone that's tuned in.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.